Marriage Broker Auntie presents Behind the Scenes. This is an audio series documenting the lives of happily married couples who've committed to spending their every day building healthy relationships. Growing up, we've listened to countless stories that end with meeting your soulmate, getting married, and living happily ever after. But is that all to relationships? We're here to find out more. We hope to unravel marriage through stories of real relationships. I'm your host Priyanka Bharadwaj, founder and CEO of Marriage Broker Auntie, which is a matrimonial advisory and relationship coaching service. What you're about to hear is an unscripted conversation with a couple who've graciously come forward to share their relationship story.
Hi, I'm Lima and this is Manoj. I've got a background in training. I've spent a decade in training and I quit my job when I had my little one. She's 9 years old now, Natasha. So wanted to be a full-time homemaker just for her. I'm passionate about health and fitness and nutrition. So currently I am into freelancing. So I help people in their health.
I'm an engineer by qualification, and I currently work with a bank as a full-time job. And my passion project is, I'm the host of the Rare Earth podcast, where you were one of my privileged guests. So yeah, it's a full circle now.
Today on Behind the Scenes, we have Lima and Manoj. Lima and Manoj met through a common friend in 2005. While most people have a checklist for an ideal partner, Lima made one to explain why she and Manoj shouldn't be together. But that didn't stop this gregarious couple from getting married. They've now been married for 13 years and they live in Bangalore with their 9-year-old daughter, Natasha.
Married for 13 years now, apart from our dating years.
Oh, wow. How long have you been together then?
16 now.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you guys meet?
Yeah, so that's an interesting story. So I used to work with Accenture. I started my career with Accenture, and so me and my friend, we graduated from the same college, and so we used to work in different shifts. That time, it was in the call center that I started off with. So my friend used to be in a different shift. I used to be in a different shift, and every weekend when we used to catch up, he used to keep raving about this girl. She's really cool, very nice to connect with her, and all that. And I said, okay, who is this person you've been raving about? So he said, no, her name is Lima. She's a very cool friend and all that. So at that point in time, I was actively working on a business idea where I had to meet more people to really, share this idea. So I was very desperate to, expand my contact. And then I said, hey, why don't you give me her number and, I'll reach out to her. So I got her number. I dialed her in, and then she said, yeah, sure, we can catch up. And then she told me, why don't you come to like MG Road? If you are from Bangalore, you know where MG Road is. So I went in there, and then she, instead of meeting me alone, she has a bunch of other friends, and she says, hey guys, meet my friend Manoj. And she actually called me into another business idea she was working on.
Oh.
And then and she had to probably bring in a prospect there, and I was a prospect. So she very happily introduced to that gang of friends, telling that, hey, I got a guy here, Manoj, and then they started showing me some business idea, and I was like totally pissed off, like what the hell, like. And then I somehow sat through the whole presentation, whatever they had to show me. I got up, and then I was like so annoyed with her. So I said, hey, really nice meeting you. And she could sense in my whole vibe that, I was pissed off. So she did a very smart thing then. She said, hey, why don't we have coffee? She told me that. So I was like, what? Like, okay, fine, big deal. So then she took me to she took me to the coffee day at Brigade Road there, and then she and I had coffee, and then that kind of really eased up a little bit, but I was not really keen on having a conversation with her. But as I spoke with her, I really felt she was kind of interesting, very different personality. And like I was asking her about what's your plan with the in future, what do you plan to do and all. What's the answer she gave me then? She told me, I'm looking for somebody who who's lost his wife. Like he's like, lost his wife and he's looking for a partner and I want to be that partner.
Wow.
I said, why is that? She said, no, like, I just, I want somebody who's all settled and, he's like well off in life. And then he's lost a partner and I just want to fulfill that. And I just need a big 1 acre of land and, start a life like that. I said, this is the weirdest response I've ever heard. So you want to tell more about that?
That sounds like a good plan, especially coming from someone who wanted to launch their own business and
But it was really weird. I don't know. I've been having this thought right from the time of growing years.
yeah.
Marry somebody who's lost his wife once. Second thing, marry somebody who's physically handicapped.
Right.
So I don't know, maybe from the helping point, I don't know, or the life is kind of going to be settled. You're not going to slog. You're only going to be taking care of the person. So I don't know from where did I get the thought, but that was the thing that I kind of shared with him when I met him. So
Wait, I'm still trying to understand. How will your life be settled with someone who's lost their partner or is disabled?
no clue. Maybe they're settled completely. That's imagination. I'm still thinking that they're well off. Okay. So he was like, really? He couldn't connect to that. I'm like,
Yeah.
So-
And how did it go from there to deciding that you guys want to get married?
a lot of things happened. I was shocked to my extent, like, how can this guy be so confident? Because I'm like the strict Roman Catholic, okay, in terms of religion. And he's coming from a Hindu background. And my folks are like the hardcore. Sundays church is a must. Your Sunday classes is a must. And all these things, yeah, whatever we call in
Yeah.
Christianity.
Yeah.
And this guy comes out from nowhere and proposes me on the phone.
Right.
And asked him to meet me that evening. And I'm making a list of 6-7 things as to why it will not happen.
right.
Why it will not work out?
I could have just said no to him. I don't know why I did to even make a list to convince him. So I make a list and I go and meet him that evening. And I'm telling point number 1, the religion aspect. Point number 2, my dad. And he's like, okay, if this is taken care, okay, if this is taken care, okay, if this is taken care. And he ticks there. He ticks all the points saying, if I can handle this, is it okay? Is it okay? And I'm like, really? I'm like, he's showing off. But actually, whatever he said, he actually did
Yeah.
it to the extent of he coming and talking to my folks too.
Wow.
That was like, I seriously haven't seen anybody doing that. Nor I watch movies, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, this guy was like, he gave his word and he did it. So that kind of interested me.
That's awesome. Manoj, so how did you go from liking this girl to thinking that this is a woman you want to spend the rest of your life with?
When I recollect the time that I was having these phone conversation with her,
Yeah.
the best thing I liked about her is she has this amazing energy. Like you can feel in her voice, she's super energetic, so full of life. And I was always wanting a partner or somebody to be with me who's like equally matching my energy.
Got
So
it.
not somebody who's not as enthused about life. So she definitely brings that energy in her conversation, and she genuinely was interested in being part of my world. She was always curious about what I was doing. She was asking questions about how my day was. Like, so somebody taking so much interest in you really interested me.
When he proposed me, I still didn't know much about him. Whatever my friend used to tell me, I was to like, okay, seems to be an interesting character. Okay, sounds good, humorous and all that. But when I met him, I liked that conviction in him that when he says that I will do it. And go to touch wood, till now, it has been the same. He
Got
says it and he gets it done.
Is there anything else that you guys have learned about each other after being married now in the last 13 years that you didn't know before you got married that you absolutely like about each other?
Okay.
New
Okay.
things.
Once you're married, yes, there are a lot of things that you get to explore.
Correct.
Dating time is fun. It's like the fantasy world and all that. But
Correct.
once you're married, yeah, that's where you explore. And that's where the differences come in. The best thing about Manoj is about our relationship is he gives us his time. Whatever you do doesn't matter. You take me for shopping, trips, will not matter to me. It doesn't
Got it.
interest me.
Got
But you
it.
sit with me for a cup of coffee or tea and spend that 20 minutes solid only with me. That
Right.
makes a world of difference for me.
Right.
And he does that. When he does that every day, and I'm just pouring my heart out. I'm not looking for solution. I'm not looking for appreciation, nothing. But that 20 minutes makes a world of difference for me. And that's why we even talk about each other. If I don't like something about him, I tell him.
Got it.
And
Got it.
it's that conversation that we have, and that makes a world of difference for me.
That's awesome.
So that's what I've explored over a period. It's really not magic. We are still working. We are still exploring. There are a lot of things happening. It's not a magic thing. Ours is like touch wood. There's no fights, nothing. No, there is. But this 20 minutes every day that we spend with each other is a miracle, is a blessing.
That's awesome. And what time of the day is it? Is it a fixed time of the day or like?
No, it's end of the day.
Mostly end of the day, no?
Mostly end of the day when both are free from our work.
Got it.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Awesome. That's amazing. What about you, Manoj? What have you discovered about Lima after being married that you really like?
I think her ability to really contain what I mean is she has this unique ability to really distill information and give it to me. Okay, and this is a very rare skill. I feel like, there must be so much going on around the house or in her world, but she's very cognizant about when that information needs to be given to me. She doesn't just blabber it out straight away, loading me with something which I won't be of any help at that very moment. Okay, so she's very intelligent about how to convey it and when to convey it. So there are times wherein, I'll be in the office and then she will just give me a casual call and she will be gauging where I am and, what I'm up to. Based on that, she will actually open up further. So she may just call up and say, hey, honey, what's up? What are you up to? I said, hey, just in the middle of something, what's going on? She's nothing, just casually called. And end of the day, when we are having that conversation, she say, you know what? No, Natasha had fallen down. I'd gone to the hospital. We did this thing and this whole thing. I said, oh my God, all that happened. And, well, why didn't you tell me? She said, no, that you couldn't have done anything anyway. So I just wanted, that there is no point telling it. So I could have taken a thing that you should tell me everything every time. But I feel it is a more intelligent approach that she's really mindful about what needs to be told when. And the more and more I'm spending time with her, I can start seeing her ability to really tolerate high tolerances. There are things of higher magnitude which she really single-handedly takes on, which is a shocker for me. If I have a headache, or I'm at work, I say, hey, honey, I'm having a headache. It's like bothering me, and I will not even know if she's going through something unless we are having our time together. I am really impressed by that skill of hers.
That's awesome. I'm going to go back and pick on something that Lima said, which is interesting for me. You said 20 minutes, we just talk, discuss. I'm not looking for any solutions or appreciations.
Right.
When you say that, I'm not looking for any solutions, I want to pick on this topic just a little bit because I've heard this from a lot of couples where men like to offer solutions. When women complain about something or just, they want to let go of something, and they talk about it, men try to offer solutions. And I've seen that it really bugs the shit out of women because women are just looking for someone to listen. And then men jump straight into solution. Does Manoj do that?
Okay. As a solution, no, he does not. He just listens to me. That's the best part about Manoj. He does not interfere till you finish entire conversation. And in case he likes it, he says that was a good thing that you did with the person or whatever. Yeah. But in case he feels he needs to add, he adds and says, you could have done this. Maybe that would have helped you too. But he does not, what do you say, enforce it on me, saying, no, you should have done this. No, he doesn't do that.
Got it. Yeah. When you're going through an issue or you kind of sound helpless, what does he do? Does he try to facilitate introspection for you, or does he give you an answer?
He always puts me in a spot where he says, you need to think from their point of view. Okay. Now, for a simple scenario, like let's say we stay with my mother-in-law. Okay. Now, she's a gem of a person, but we women, we have a mood swings. Right. And that time there would have been an incident, which when you see after 2 days, you really laugh about it. But that moment when you're in a mood swing and something happens, and I'm not a person, I'm really not a person who's got full of energy to fight as such. So what I do, I kind of keep mum, listen to everything what she says. When he comes over, I share it with him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This guy listens to it very sweetly. I'm like, wow, what an understanding partner. Okay.
Huh.
If he needs to give, he will give something, but otherwise he ignores it. But the same thing happens from my mother-in-law's point of view in the morning when they're having tea together. She would tell him, she would tell him her version of what has happened.
Right.
Okay. Which I would
Right.
not get to know, nor she
Right.
will know what has happened.
Right.
But in case after listening to both, if he feels he has to interfere somewhere, he
Got
does
it.
that accordingly, which is
Got it.
very sweet of him. In case
Got it.
I am at fault, he tells me, or in case mom is at fault, he tells her. But in case he feels, oh, they are able to handle it, it was just that minute issue, he will just ignore it as if nothing happened.
How are you able to do this? Because I know a lot of guys struggle with this, right? They would like to come out of the equation and let the two women bite each other's head off, right? How are you able to listen to both of them and go back and tell each one of them when they're wrong?
Okay, so I have arrived at this point with some hard life experiences. so so when we had got married and we were all living together, for me, tranquility in the house, or
Yeah.
being everybody being in harmony was a super important value system.
Yeah.
So if I could sense there is some tension between
Yeah.
Lima and mom,
Yeah.
it becomes almost like a mission for me to resolve it. I want to really resolve it. Okay,
Got it.
so in my initial years, if I sense that there were some differences, she is thinking something, she is understood, my mom has understood something differently, I would call both of them
Mhm.
in a room and I will try to solve that issue.
Right.
Okay, and with repeated failed attempts,
Got it.
okay, I came to this realization that this is a tremendous waste of my time and it is not going to work out. Because like she will think the way she wants to think, my mom will
Correct.
think the way she wants to think, and
Correct.
I am nobody who can change them.
Yeah.
Okay,
Correct.
so when I had that light bulb moment that what, I have to only, this is something which I don't have to resolve, this is something I have to manage.
Yeah.
Okay, when that understanding came into me, I completely disengaged myself from that equation. From the beginning, we both had a very clear understanding that we will not allow our parents to get involved in our marriage. We were very clear about that. Okay, so all the decision making process, we kept it completely divorced from like her parents and my parents. So whatever decisions had to be made, we both decided very deliberately. Like be it be being intercaste, there are religion issues, there could be so many value system which would be clashing, but we decided we will not subscribe to any of those because we want to form our own belief system. We're gonna stick to, this is how we're gonna be running our family.
Sure.
So when I spoke to her about the idea that we will not involve the families, we'll do it together, there was no resistance to that idea. It's not like she had a different thought.
Got
She
it.
was open for it. So
Got it.
and it has worked brilliantly. This is something I see a lot of couple goof up, wherein they like to get inputs from their parents, or get opinion from their whoever is the most influenced person in their family, and it really messes up the the dynamics in the relationship.
I think this is a very important message for most people who are getting into relationships now, right? This is almost like marriage 101. Having those healthy boundaries between you as a couple and other people, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, this sounds all great, but I'm sure all of these ideals and values once in a while break apart. There are clashes. All couples fight. What do you guys fight most about?
Fight, okay, that will be on my little one's issue. That's it. Nothing on me, nothing on him.
Got it.
He's been a different thinker all the time. He's got a specific way of teaching her.
Got it.
He's against homeworks, and I am like the 100% attendance person and top in the class most of the time, and I want to see my daughter there. And he's like, no, we are not going to push us to do this homework. She will realize when to do it and she will do it. And it was so difficult. So when she started schooling, as a mother, you want your daughter to perform the way you were. Don't take leave unnecessarily. So I used to push her like literally. No, 100% attendance is a must. And where? She would have been in a kindergarten and all that stuff, okay? But he says, no, we shouldn't. We shouldn't do that. Just leave it to her. Let her decide. But if I see, thanks to him again, because I see she taking her own decisions now. So
Right.
That's where the differences comes in. And
Right.
the best part about our differences is we don't shout immediately.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
that is. Yeah, we have no volume going up, or
So
there is
like things flying and nothing of
nothing.
that sort.
Got
One
it.
person just kind of accepts it and completely goes mom. Either one of us.
Yeah, the cold treatment may happen. Yeah,
Complete co-treatment, maybe a couple of hours, but there is no argument, no discussions, nothing.
if she is upset, then my world comes tumbling. Like there is nothing which I like. Nothing matters to me. It feels like. So if I'm going to work, I'll be so pissed off internally. Obviously, I can't show that out as I'm working, but I will be like so disturbed from within unless it is resolved. So we used to. We actually even discussed this before marriage, wherein we had said, there will be moments where we will be completely pissed off with each other, but we will just give one night sleep time. We will give it a night. Let's be pissed off with it, but
Yeah.
the next day morning, we like, there is not a single day where we do not hug each other. Like we hug every single day. That's the first thing we do.
Right.
When we see, like it's absolute, like it's almost a ritual. So if I see her, we both hug each other. So the next day morning when we get up, like if she's pissed off with me, I'm going to go hug her, kiss her and say, what, I'm really sorry, I messed up or whatever. It's always made up. So
Right. Right.
generally that works.
But yeah, if there's a cold treatment and it takes time, it definitely takes time
Got it.
for one
Right.
person to really digest the fact
Right.
that, one of us were wrong or I shouldn't have done it, guys.
Obviously, you guys have learned so much about each other, and you've found that middle ground that works for both of you. But if you could kind of go back in time now and tell your single selves one thing that you didn't know about being married, it could be a good or a bad thing, what would it be?
When you actually get married, and you have a completely new role to play. Like you're not only the like husband, but you're also now you're playing a role of doing a balancing act between your mother and your wife, and you have to keep both of them happy. And it's a very delicate process, I feel. So mom feels that she's losing out on the son,
Correct.
and the wife feels I've come from no place to your house, you better be supportive to me, right?
Correct.
And so those things at that time, I was trying to convince everybody and make everybody understand we are all one family and all that. Now I would advise myself, what, it's fine, like take a breather, it's fine, life is okay.
Yeah.
No problem, don't get so worked up. Just don't try to change people, accept them in totality.
And marriage is not about just it is us. There's a
Yeah.
lot of work, but you have to do it for both of you. It is not just for you. And
Got
you need to change. You cannot be stagnant saying, this is how I am. And no, it cannot. If that's the case, then you shouldn't be married.
We see each other as a totally energy couple. Like if you talk to us anytime, you will feel this vibe and energy any day. Like we are juiced up about about our relationship. We are juiced up about life. We are really very thrilled about whatever is in store for us. And we want to be responsible parents. We want to be somebody who are role models to our daughters. If my daughter looks at us, she knows that dad and mom are having a ball. They're really having a fantastic life. It's not like they're stressed out.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is something that we want to cultivate as a family. So yeah, we as a couple, I think we understand each other immensely, like totally. Like she gets me and I get her, and we just need every day we need that 20 minutes of our time together, and everything is back on track.
So as a couple, I would say having a lovely listening partner, it works wonders.
That's awesome. So thank you so much for sharing your story with us. It's been an absolute honor.
If you do these things more often with couple, and as we narrate our stories and we relive those moments, we feel more connected. I think so thanks to you for
You got the memories back. Yeah.
My conversation with Lima and Manoj was very insightful. I learned so many things about marriage that I don't think is always intuitive, and usually learned the hard way. I also learned that no matter how long you've been together, it's important to have rituals that bring you closer as a couple, especially when you're playing multiple roles in your life, as a son or a daughter, husband or a wife, parent, and so on. When you accept people as is and don't try to change them, you're likely to be happier. But this is easier said than done. Sometimes It's important to be aligned on values even before you get into a relationship so you can spend less time fighting each other and more time conquering the world. It was a pleasure talking to this super energetic couple who were able to relive memories of their first meeting 16 years ago as if it were yesterday. We wish this couple much more happiness and beautiful memories for the years to come. Thank you for listening to Behind the Scenes. These conversations are available on the Marriage Broker Auntie channel on YouTube and Spotify. Please subscribe to our channel if you haven't already done so you can have access to future episodes as soon as they're out. Please do like and share these conversations with your friends and family. Much has been said about how we meet our partners, but very little about how we build relationships with them. So if you think this conversation could inspire someone you know, don't forget to share this with them. If you'd like to follow us on social media, you can find us on Instagram and Twitter. You can also go to our website marriagebrokeranti.com, auntie with an IE, to learn more about this project and the work we do.